Welcome back to the Weekly Grind with Bean. Last week we covered everything to expect with the new zone, the Siren Isle. So this week we're going to get into all the other things coming with patch 11.0.7. First off, we have the new Arathi Ear customization coming for Humans and Kul Tirans. I think it's actually really cool half-elf look for these races, and honestly, I wish WoW would spend more time expanding on more customization options for every race in the game. People love to make their characters unique and special, so why not give us some more options? In addition to these customizations, we're also getting some updates to some of the racial abilities. Now, I'm not really the min-maxing type when it comes to character creation, but some of these changes are pretty cool, like the Worgen Darkflight now stacking with other movement increasing effects, and having a reduced cooldown, so you can actually have a nice little speed boost every 1.5 minutes. Definitely check out some of these updated abilities, as you might be convinced to roll a new character. A nice little quality of life feature is being added that allows cross-faction parties to queue for dungeons as long as it's a full party. One caveat of this feature is that if a member were to leave or disconnect during the instance, they would not be replaced. I've said before that they should just allow you to queue regardless of having a full party or not. It's an MMO, so playing with other people is half the point of the game anyways. So why not just let us queue even if our friends are from the opposite faction? For the people that would not like to randomly join a group with the other faction, that's fine too. Just have like a checkbox in the queue menu or something that says, if you mind grouping with Horde or Alliance, and then, problem solved. With all the other quality of life and account-wide warband changes that have been coming out lately, I think this is probably likely to happen at some point. We actually do have some class tuning coming with the patch as well. I mostly play Prot Pally, so I don't really have much insight to how all of these changes will play out for you guys. I will share the class tuning in the description, so check it out if any of these specs or classes are yours, and let us know in the comments whether these are W or L changes. Some big changes coming with the Harbinger Crest acquisition and spending will also be coming with 11.0.7 that should help a little bit with gearing and also make it feel a little less worse when not timing a key. Now, whenever failing to time a key, you will only receive 4 crests less than you would have gotten for timing it. For example, running a +10, you would receive 16 gilded crests for timing the key, but if you were to fail, you would receive 12 gilded crests instead. This feels a lot more reasonable to me and definitely makes me feel a little more okay with failing a key. If I know at least I'm still going to get a decent amount of crests that I can use towards improving my gear. This feels even better with the crest cost changes also coming with this. The crest cost for purchasing an Ascent Gilded Harbinger crest is being reduced to 60 from its previous cost of 90. This is pretty good, as 90 just felt a little bit ridiculous. And of course, just last week I spent 90 gilded crests for my first 636 crafted piece. So you're welcome, everyone. Blizzard was definitely waiting for me to waste my 90 crests before announcing this change. Another cost change are the crest trade-up bags, which now will only cost 45 to exchange for the bag containing 15 of the higher tier crests. And lastly, the Harbinger of the Gilded achievement that grants a crest discount to your other characters now only requires you to wear item level 636 gear in every slot to unlock. This is much more attainable than the previous 639. And while all these changes are great, and I know I will benefit from them, I feel like they probably should have come around a little bit sooner. But better late than never, as they say. The crest changes steer me into the next topic of Mythic Plus problems. If you follow WoW on YouTube at all, then you've definitely seen the discourse. People love playing Mythic Plus, but there are some issues this season, like DPS not being able to get into groups unless they have a huge IO rating or play the meta specs and classes, shortages of tanks and healers brought on by the stresses and difficulties associated with those roles, over-reliance on RNG in regards to getting the gear you need, and low-level mythics not really feeling worth your time at all for the rewards they give you. Looking at you, 56 gold. Doesn't even cover repair costs. I have a sort of unique view on M+, as I do tank, but I mostly only do so with my own group of friends. Our goal for Season 1 is simply to reach 2k rating and get them out. I play Prot Pally, and as of this video, I have a gear score of 620 and an IO score of 1863. I would never proclaim myself as some amazing player, but I think I'm decent enough, and I really enjoy the tanking role and providing that extra effort to help the group out. Now, could I just start spamming pug groups and probably reach 2k in a single night? I don't know for sure, but as a tank, I I think I could probably find some groups farming Crest pretty quickly and easily. But I want to play with my group of friends, and that's the whole reason I started playing WoW, is to be social and crack jokes with my buddies in some dungeons. With the backstory out of the way, we are having a hard time getting through some of the 6 to 7 area of keys, and we don't get a damn thing worth our time in this level till breakthrough. Gear doesn't drop enough, or just doesn't drop what we need, the vault rewards don't stack up to tier 8 delves, and the gold is pathetic. And before this upcoming Crest change, Crest gains were pretty pathetic too, and less timing a key. I'm not trying to sound overly negative or anything, as overall, we've definitely still been having a fun time running dungeons. But some nights when we barely miss a timer and then have a depleted key with no real rewards can feel a little demoralizing. Even though we're not playing at the highest level, this season has felt much harder for us than previous ones. Even though I think we're much better at the game, so it feels wrong. So I do like the Crest changes for sure, and I'm happy that they have announced that these changes will be where Season 2 starts out. If I could offer some of my own feedback for Blizzard though, I would say maybe get rid of key depletion, or possibly even add in a practice mode. It'd be nice to have some sort of training or practice mode so we could spend more time figuring out the best way to deal with different enemies, experiment with routes, and test different size pools, all at a key level difficulty that we know we are currently working on. It'd be great if you could set up enemies to respawn as much as you needed, so you could figure out exactly how the team needs to handle each pool. It's already hard enough getting a group of consistent people together, so let us get some practice in the spots that we need it, instead of bouncing up and down with the key levels and difficulties. I get that the practice mode might be a little bit much, but even just doing away with key depletion I think would help out. Let us run key levels that are actually beneficial for us. It's definitely felt like we've been wasting our time every time we get knocked down a level because there's just no good rewards in those lower keys. Anyways, there's a ton of other content creators with some great ideas on ways to improve M+, so I'll just leave the topic there for now so I don't end up repeating what you may have heard already. In other news, we have a recent survey Blizzard has put out asking people how they would feel about Mythic Plus using a death limit like Delves currently do instead of a timer. While I can see how this might appeal to some people, I don't think it would be a good idea. Dungeons already take a long time to go through, and if there's not a timer, players are going to feel encouraged to just wait for all their cooldowns to come back up for each pool. And then you gotta imagine if they do go through with this kind of change, they would start designing the dungeons around the fact that players would be waiting for cooldowns, leading to even longer dungeons. I'm just not interested in adding tons of downtime to every dungeon though. The timers create a sense of urgency and excitement, and you have a purpose with every pool and how you route. Obviously, there's plenty of other ways that I think they could change and improve the M+ experience, but I don't think this is worth it. Imagine having a group that wants to wait for lust for every pool. And now let's get into the weekly grind. This week we have Cataclysm Time Walking, which will be a nice break from the classic dungeons, which while cool, can feel a little tedious when spamming them to level characters. Make sure to pick up the quest for running 5 Cataclysm dungeons or defeating 5 Firelands bosses, and the quest for defeating Ragnaros in the Firelands Time Walking raid to maximize your rewards. This will work well for anyone still partaking in the anniversary celebration event as well. There is also the secret event going on during this that you could do, which does earn you the Fell Cycle, and apparently there's some more to come. So take some time to go through that if you're interested in riding in style. This event has 3 more weeks to go and it will end on January 6th. So if you've been putting it off, now's a good time to jump in before the holidays start. Speaking of the holidays, the Feast of Wintervale starts this week on December 19th and will last until January 5th. There's supposed to be some changes coming to this event as well, but as of this recording, they're still unannounced. I'll be covering this event more in depth along with any changes it gets next week, so here's hoping it gets a fun little revamp. For PvP, we have the PvP Brawl Temple of Hot Mogu, which is a hot potato variant of the Temple of Kot Mogu, in which players can toss the Orbs of Power to friendlies. And last, make sure to knock out your weekly chores. At this point in the season, a lot of these may not be as rewarding as they used to be. And that's our weekly grind, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and catch us live to hang out whenever we stream to help support the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next week.